Bruny Island, known for its wildlife, the landscape, and the local gourmet food. Most people think that you need a lot of money to have a good time here, but we've quit our jobs and are travelling around Australia in our van. So we're going to try to make the most of it while spending as little money as possible, and to show you that you can have an incredible travel experience anywhere, even with a super tight budget. Bruny Island is a small island off the south coast of Tasmania, which itself is an island off the south coast of Australia, which itself is also technically an island. To get to Bruny Island, we caught a 15-minute ferry with the van from Kettering near Hobart. And if you come over in off-peak times like we did, you can get a Super Saver ticket, which is only $37 return. We got here late in the afternoon, so it's a pretty low-key day one for us. For our night one accommodation, we are staying at the Neck Reserve campsite, which is $10 a night for 2 people in the van. We are staying in a site that I think is actually not technically a campsite, so I definitely recommend getting here early to secure a good spot. Tomorrow we'll move, but for now we are basically in the road.
So it was a pretty cheap day one for us in Bruny Island. We are absolutely cooked from the hike we did in Hobart this morning. So tonight we just stayed in for a movie night. Our total expenses so far are $47, including the boat over here. Okay, that's day one in Bruny Island complete. We'll see you for a much more exciting day two. Morning. Well, technically good afternoon because we had a bit of a slow start this morning. We are halfway through, what's it called? We're halfway through Fluted Cape Walk and we've just stopped to have a packed lunch.
Nice lunch, baby.
There's about 1 billion walks you can do on Bruny Island, ranging from very easy to moderately difficult, and I'd highly recommend getting into the walking here because the combination of the bush with the stunningly blue ocean is something that I haven't seen anywhere else in Tasmania, and it's a pretty epic way to see the island. Heading back from the hike, we saw some of the famous Bruny Island white wallabies, which have become white because of a genetic mutation that has proliferated from a lack of natural predators. Not gonna lie, my camera work wasn't the best here, so here's a picture so you can see what they really look like up close. After our hike, I was desperate for a swim, which lucky for me was a 2-minute walk from the campground.
I'm about to go for a swim and I'm kind of terrified because it's just like the ocean between here and Antarctica, so I think it's going to be chilly. But I haven't had a shower in a couple of days, and so I need to get in that water. Oh my god. Oh, that was so cold. The water's really shallow as well, so I just had to like dunk myself. I feel better now, I'm a bit clean though. In terms of food, I'm thinking that the strategy is to bypass the restaurant experiences and just get some of the produce highlights as takeaway. So for example, Bruny Island is really famous for oysters and cheese, so I'm thinking we just get some of those and then supplement the food that we already have with that for something a little bit more gourmet.
Our first stop today is the famous Bruny Island bread fridge. It's a spin on what we've seen a lot of in Tasmania, which is a roadside honesty stall where the producers leave out food, flowers, or whatever they're trying to sell, and buyers put their money into an honesty box. We just got a loaf of sourdough for $8, but they had fruit loaves and Anzac biscuits that also looked really good. The next stop is Bruny Island Beer and Cheese. This place was brilliant and we tasted every single cheese that they had on offer. I highly recommend a visit. You can stay for a meal, but it's not cheap, so I'd recommend the takeaway option instead.
So we probably didn't need to get 3 cheeses, but they were giving away one of the cheeses with every soft cheese, and I wanted a soft cheese anyway, and then Jack wanted a hard cheese, and then somehow we ended up with 3 cheeses and spent $37. But honestly, I think you could spend a lot more money at that place really easily. Everything looked so good. They had like walls of pickles and relishes and jams. They had all of these beers that they brewed on site and like really nice fruit juices. And yeah, I can totally see why people would spend a lot of money there.
Our final food destination is Get Shucked, which is an oyster bar which has a drive-through option. So we went there and we got a dozen live oysters for just $20. Then it was off to Cloudy Bay on the far side of the island.
Getting there was a bit sketchy in the van across a 3-kilometre sand beach, but the V6 diesel engine came through once again and we pulled into the Cloudy Bay campsite to have lunch and settle in for the evening. Once we got there, we immediately wished that we'd stayed at this campsite for longer. It was tropical bushland right on this massive protected beach with a pretty magical sunset in the evening. Today's spend was obviously more than all the other days. We spent $8 on bread, $37 on cheese, and $20 on oysters and oyster sauce. We are heading back to Hobart tomorrow, so our grand total for 3 pretty bloody good days in Bruny Island is $134. Honestly, you could easily do it for less than $100 if you bring most of your own food like we did and skip the cheese. I really hope from watching this video that you get inspired to hit the road and see Australia, even if you're on a really tight budget. In the next video of this On a Budget series, we're spending 2 weeks on the east coast of Tasmania. Okay, I'm putting the camera down now and off to enjoy my last night in Bruny Island. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you next time.